Thanks for staying with us on the news at 9. Zimbabwe's government has issued a notice terminating all mobile money platforms with immediate effect. The Information Ministry says the suspension is to allow government to deal with issues of malpractice and economic sabotage related to the service. A mobile cash transfer service, Econet, says it will continue with operations until it receives a formal communication from the country's Reserve Bank. There was panic around the news as more than half of the country is set to rely on the transfers due to the majority of the country being employed in the informal sector. Let's get more on the story. I'm joined on the line by SABC News Zimbabwe correspondent Ephert Musekiwa. Ephert, thanks so much for your time tonight. The Zimbabwean Reserve Bank says this suspension is immediate in a press release, but EcoCash says they're proceeding anyway.
Well, the announcement has been met with a lot of confusion, both from ordinary Zimbabweans and even the mobile network operators themselves. It's not just Econet, even the other two major mobile money providers, that's Telecel and Net1, did issue similar press releases or similar public statements that they are going to continue until such a time that they receive clarity from the Reserve Bank as to what really they are being called upon to do.
So the Reserve Bank in that press statement said the suspension was due to the need to protect customers from abuse, and I quote, unscrupulous and unpartisan individuals. Do we know who's being referred to in that statement, or what's the backstory?
Well, if you recall, a few months ago, there was, there's been speculation as to what is leading to the, money supply in the Zimbabwean economy. The Zimbabwean currency keeps losing value almost on a daily basis, and there is a department within the Reserve Bank called the intelligence unit within the financial intelligence unit within the Reserve Bank that is responsible to try and identify or try and figure out what is bringing in all this money that is, weakening the local currency. And from the statement by the government, they attributed it to that financial intelligence unit that they have identified that it is this mobile money, mobile money that is adding the, money into the market, that is increasing the money supply into the market through that platform, because they were not previously they were not regulated by the Reserve Bank, and they are regulated by a different authority, which is postal and regulation authorities, since they are network operators. So really, I think that's where they are coming from, and that's where they are trying to plug in the loopholes where people had found ways of bringing in money into the market unofficially.
Mm-hmm. Ephert, there's a very large informal economy in Zimbabwe. We know that there's over 10 million users of this mobile money, at least. Has there been clarity on how then, if mobile money is stopped, Zimbabwean citizens should operate?
Well, the statement that was issued by the Reserve Bank this evening did indicate that some of the transactions on these mobile money networks or on these mobile platforms will still be active. People will still be able to pay for goods and services. They'll still be able to pay for utilities. They'll still be able to pay transactions of not more than 5,000 Zimbabwean dollars. So I think they are still trying to figure out how this is going to go about. But I think they've actually come to the realization that a complete or a total suspension or a total ban of this platform is actually going to create more problems than the solutions that they are trying to find. So they have indicated, we don't know how this will how this will pan out as people go about transacting, but they've actually said some services will remain active, some services will be suspended.
Ephert, as we wrap up, talk to us about the economic situation in general in Zimbabwe. There, we're reading that inflation is around 786%. There's a lack of fuel, and teachers and other people are earning very low salaries. How are people coping in this time?
Well, it's very, very, very difficult for the ordinary Zimbabweans. Life has become, unimaginable. We are under lockdown, and most of the economy had shut down, during this lockdown. A lot of people had not been going to work. Civil servants were going to work, but the informal sector was closed. It only reopened about a couple of weeks now. And since then, since the beginning of the lockdown, the local currency has, devalued in a great way. Salaries for civil servants can no longer buy the basics that they were able to buy. Like you rightly said, there is no fuel within the country. There are long queues at petrol stations. There are long queues, people trying to get fuel. So the economy really is struggling. There is no money within the banks, both foreign currency and the local Zimbabwean dollar. So it's very difficult. Money has lost value over this lockdown period, which is now almost 3 months. People are struggling. People are not able to fend the informal sector. Even some of them, they've only allowed those that are registered to return to work and make a living, but it's very difficult. I can confirm that life for the ordinary Zimbabwean is very difficult. Last week we saw the president announcing that civil servants were going to get a salary rise and also get a cushion of about $75 as just a cushion, and negotiations are currently underway with the rest of the civil service so that the pay increase is actually the margin is increased. We also see that nurses threatened to go on industrial action this past week. There are some clinicians who are also actually on strike. Teachers are threatening that next week when the exams begin, some of the teachers are not going to invigilate because they do not have, or their salaries are not adequate. So really it is a tough time economically in Zimbabwe.
Ephert Musekiwa, SABC News' Zimbabwe correspondent, coming to us live from there just now.